So today we have our first glimpse of rules changes for Codex Blood Angels, and Saturday is going to be a big release weekend for Warhammer 40k. There's a ton of kits on the way. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today we have a bit more news about the Blood Angels release. Not only do we know that the Codex is on pre-order on Saturday this week, but the Assault Intercessors and Gladiator Tank look like they'll be joining it. The Christmas Battle Force boxes will be up for pre-order, and Warhammer Community have given us our first preview of the Blood Angels rules, including a few important changes that are coming out in the Codex. So let's talk about this weekend's release first. First up we have none other than Codex Blood Angels, £17.50 or $30, or just over double the price if you want this fancy collector's edition that has a ribbon on it. There's no real new miniatures coming for Blood Angels unfortunately, but we are seeing the release of that Blood Angels Combat Patrol, and it is quite a good one, at least for regular Space Marine players in my opinion. It's got Aggressors, Incursors, Intercessors, an Impulsor and a Librarian. I really hope that this one's also £85 just like the others, as at that price it will pretty much be one of the best ways to get into Space Marines. There'll also be Dyson data cards coming out alongside the Codex, and what looks like a very similar release to the Hounds of Morkai, with a small box of Death Company Intercessors, which I believe will just include 5 multi-part Intercessors and 1 Blood Angels upgrade sprue. I really hope at some point they'll get round to rendering some unique Blood Angels units in a new Primaris updated form. We are seeing a few more of the Space Marine releases trickle in as well. We've got Assault Intercessors and the Gladiator Tank coming. Admittedly, we have had access to Assault Intercessors for quite a while, via Indomitus and the 40k starter sets, but it's quite nice to see the release of the actual multi-part kit, with the all-important Sergeant who can take a Thunderhammer or Power Fist. I strongly suspect that these will also be £35, in line with the standard Intercessor squad. Finally, we have the Gladiator Tank coming. Again, it's one that we've known about for a good long while. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who have been itching to get their hands on one. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, those Christmas Battle Forces are going to be up for pre-order, so if you wanted some heavily discounted Tau or Necrons or something, then these are looking like a really good option. It is really going to depend on the price, of course. We don't have an 100% confirmation on that yet, though I have noticed that Chapter Master Valrak has made a video saying that they're going to be around the £120 to £125 mark, and if that turns out to be accurate, then it's looking very good indeed. I was honestly expecting them to be more around £130 based on the discounts from previous years. When we get some confirmation of the prices, I'll most certainly be revisiting them once more in the week to talk about which ones are looking like the best deal. If you live in the UK and you were thinking about picking any of these things up, I would just like to quickly remind people about my Element Games affiliate link down in the video description. They will be selling all of these for a decent discount, and if you order anything through the post through them, then a small amount goes to help support Auspex Tactics, and it doesn't cost you any more at all. So feel free to buy through them after clicking the link if you did want to help support the channel. So now let's move on to talk about today's previews for the Blood Angels then. I strongly suspect that their rules won't be changing too much from the Index Astartes that we've already seen. If Deathwatch and Space Wolves are anything to go by, then most of their unique units will be staying fairly similar to how they were in that, but a lot of the relics, warlord traits and stratagems all changed, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Blood Angels shake out. So far from the Warhammer Community preview, we know that Savage Echoes is unchanged. An extra attack on the first round of combat when you're in the Assault Doctrine never goes down badly. On top of +1 to wound and +1 AP, it's a strong buff on just about anything. Black Rage is again unchanged since the Index. It still gives the very nice 6+ Feel No Pain and extra attack on the charge, though it does come with its own limitations. You can't fall back in the movement phase, and the Death Company can't do any actions, so compared with units like Vanguard Vets or Sanguinary Guard, they are going to be a bit more tactically inflexible. To be honest, neither of these are the biggest downsides in the world. Most of the time they're going to want to stay in combat, and most of the time they're not going to want to sit around doing actions when they could be charging. And I think it's quite good game design to have some downsides to using certain units when it makes sense in the fluff. At the moment I do think that Sanguinary Guard just on a point for point basis are a bit stronger than the Death Company. It'll be very interesting to see if that's still the case after the Codex update. Next we have a couple of bits that have changed quite significantly. The first one is Red Rampage, which costs 1 command point. It has unfortunately drastically changed from the previous, where it used to give you D3 attacks on a character when they charged. It was really useful to be honest, and I found myself using it quite a lot. Now instead of the extra attacks, it's turned into an army-wide buff. You use it in the Assault Doctrine, and every unmodified wound roll of a 6 with a melee or pistol weapon gives you an extra AP -1. Now 1 command point for an army-wide special buff really isn't all that bad, and I could see this one being really useful if you were charging in with a whole bunch of chainswords. Astartes chainswords would already be AP -2 from the Assault Doctrine, so this would make some of the attacks go to AP -3. On any one unit it isn't the biggest deal in the world, so I think you would need multiple similar units in combat on turn 3 with this, and against something with a reasonable armour save. If it is the case though, then it seems like a decent pick. It does seem that extra D3 attacks on characters might likely be gone, which is a real shame as I quite liked it. Next we have Artisan of War, which was usually the go-to warlord trait for Blood Angel's Smash Captains. It used to give you an extra pip of damage, most commonly used to turn a Thunderhammer from a damage 3 weapon into a damage 4 one. Now it's turned into a warlord trait that allows your warlord to take an extra relic, an adamantine mantle, artificer armor, mastercrafted weapon, or digital weapons. It does mean it can have a fairly similar effect to before, by using the mastercrafted weapon to have +1 damage on one character. It doesn't mean that you can't double up on damage 4 Thunderhammers though, as of course you can only pick each relic once. I'd say for a melee buffed character it might be a slight nerf, seeing as you can't combine the extra damage with another fighty relic now, but it does have a bit more scope for other different opportunities, say giving artificer armor to a librarian to keep them safe, while they've also got a relic to do something else. In any case, Blood Angel's warlord traits are going to have a bit more stiff competition. We've now got access to the Imperium Sword from the main codex, which looks like it to be a very good pickup for a Blood Angel's character that's likely to be getting stuck in. Next up we have one of the more solid relics in the codex previewed, which is the Icon of the Angel. This one previously gave you 3-inch reroll charges to nearby Blood Angel's units, and I believe it was changed to be core units in the index. I'd argue the icon has arguably got stronger. It's now a 6-inch aura, and it affects all Blood Angel's units, not just core ones. This means it's really quite good for a jump pack character, maybe deep striking alongside some Death Company or Sanguinary Guard, and giving all 3 of the units reroll charges at 8 inches, which gives them a pretty decent chance of getting in, even if you have no other buffs. Really quite helpful that it's got that extra range and works on characters. I could certainly see myself using this one. Lastly, we've got to look at the new incarnation of the Magna Grapple, which I believe is unchanged from the index again. Honestly, I would say it's still a bit niche. It'll only ever help you out if your Dreadnought is in combat with a vehicle, and the Dreadnought doesn't kill the vehicle in that round of combat, and then the opponent chooses to fall back with said vehicle. Even then, you still have to roll 2d6 to be greater than the strength of the enemy vehicle, but if you do so, then it means that it just can't fall back. Could be potentially powerful and annoying when it happens, but for me it's just a bit niche to bother with. So just a few little tidbits there for Blood Angels. Hopefully we'll be finding a bit more out over the course of the week, and I will be getting a full codex review done just as soon as the rules get out. The most important questions for me are whether we get many of our jump pack stratagems back on Wings of Fire, and our 3d 6-inch charge will be very, very nice to see come back. I'll most certainly be crossing my fingers. So let me know what you think of these changes and the releases down in the comments. Feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics if you'd like to see more Blood Angels coverage coming over the week. And if you would like to help support the channel, feel free to check out that Element Games affiliate link which is down in the video description. They're a really good store that has decent discount and ships anywhere in the UK, and if you buy anything through there, then a small amount goes to help support the channel without costing you any more whatsoever. A big thank you to all of you guys who have been using that and the Amazon one for the USA and Canada. It really does help me justify spending quite so much time on making videos about model soldiers. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.